Hello, everyone, and welcome to the On Air podcast with your hosts, Stephen Hudson, Paul O'Flaherty, and David Gall. The On Air podcast is the official podcast for Geek Dimensions and everyone living a geek's life. Hello, everybody. It's Stephen Hudson from the Geek Dimensions On Air podcast, and we're back for another episode with my good friends down in the U.S., more specifically Alabama, Paul O'Flaherty.
Yay!
How are you, Paul?
I'm here. I'm happy. I'm enjoying the...
Even after your little donation to the IRS?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Well, every other person that I know is getting their tax refunds. One of the not nice sides of being self-employed comes to kick you in the ass.
Absolutely.
And that nice deep voice you heard there is our other Alabamian, or are you down in Florida yet?
Nope, I am in Alabama. Hello, everybody. Enjoying the beautiful inside weather of insideness and air conditioning.
That is David Gall, better known as D. Gall. Gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about this week, but first, two things. What?
What do you mean, other Alabamian? I'm not an Alabamian.
He's not an Alabamian. That's not fair.
You live in Alabama.
I'm a blow-in. I live here. But Alabamian is not.
Okay, Irishman living in Alabama. We'll qualify that for the next. By the way, David, what are you drinking?
Gentleman Jack.
Ooh, nice, tasty.
Yes.
But like I said, we've got a full show. But first off, one thing I want to talk about, and I cannot express how much I love this. Both on Win Extra and on Geek Dimensions, I tend to post a lot of short films, basically sci-fi and independence. And the one I saw this week, oh, shut up, Paul. You wait, you watch it. You watch it, my friend. But I posted on Win Extra, Human Revolution, Deus Ex, which is a fan-made sci-fi short film.
Deus.
Whatever.
Douche.
Fan-made short film based around the character in that video game. And
Deus Ex.
Do yourself a favor. Take 12 minutes and watch this, and then tell me that this guy could not make a full-length feature film that would rock your socks. Because this is, I cannot explain how awesome this short film was. It's got to be, so far this year, it's my top one. And I've seen quite a number of them.
I love these kind of things. There were a couple that were released for BioShock Infinite that are kind of along the same lines, but they're so well made.
Oh,
it makes you wonder, will it scale?
Well, the funny
Hollywood
thing is,
epic or not?
So far, my record is pretty good. Between the two sites, over the last couple of years, I've highlighted a number of short sci-fi films that I have said point blank, these need to be feature films. And I'm running about a 95% average right now.
Nice.
Rosa is one. It's getting made into a full-length feature film.
All right, if you have such talent at picking these things that, should become feature films and do, what the hell are you doing podcasting with us?
Because I like you guys.
Do you,
and you're the only ones who listen to me, plus my audience. Anyway, Titanfall has been released, as we all know, but apparently they've come up. How do you like it, Paul?
I like it a lot. The single-player campaign, which isn't actually single-player, there is no single-player, per se, in Titanfall, even though there is a campaign, is rather jarring when you go in and you figure out that your single-player campaign is actually a multiplayer battle. And it doesn't matter whether or not you win or lose, you still go on to the next section of the campaign. And then, you play through these 8 stories twice. And then you go back and play them again as the other side. And I could never figure out when I was one side or the other because, I don't know, you might be like militia when you're playing, but I don't know if like the other side necessarily thinks they're militia too. I'm not sure whether or not the team that you're on is only the team that you're on to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Battlefield 4. The other team is always the terrorists. It doesn't matter what team you roll, they are the terrorists, and your job is to kill them.
And that's the impression that I get with Titanfall. Titanfall is it's a really, really cool game. It's a really, really cool concept. Obviously, you know, you get to do the sort of Call of Duty stuff where you're running around shooting people. You've got a little jetpack so you can like run up the sides of walls and all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, you get the option to jump into these big robots and really kick ass. And that really does make you feel like a badass. I think that the combat without the robots is not as in-depth as it could be. They could do a lot more there to make it a lot more like Call of Duty or even Battlefield. It could do it a bit more depth in that sense. And possibly even the robot stuff could do it a bit more depth. But it certainly makes you feel like a badass. The thing that I do have an issue with, though, is this goddamn connecting and disconnecting the servers after every frickin' round. Right? Or, I mean, you come out of a round and you go to the menu to make changes and whatever, and then it's like connecting to the server. You gotta wait 20 seconds for it to connect to a server. And I'm like, just connect to a server and leave me damn well connected instead of changing it, you know?
Or better yet, let me host a server that's EA approved after I pay my EA fee to have a ranked server and allow me to host it. But EA just doesn't play like that.
Then people might cheat on your server, dude.
I'm okay with that because it comes bundled with their anti-cheat. So if they're cheating on my server, they're cheating everywhere.
Apparently anti-cheat's not good enough.
No, this is awesome.
They have been monitoring players for quite a while now, but they've not been doing anything to stop them until they recently came out and today they came out and they made an announcement as to what they're going to do to players who've been banned. When you log in and you've been flagged as a cheater, you will see it on your screen on the PC version where it says that you're banned, you've been cheated. But they're not going to make it so that you can't play the game. They're going to make it so that you can only play with other cheaters.
And I love the way they worded that announcement where like, so it's like a Q&A and they're like, so what happens if you get banned? And they're like, well, great news. You get to keep playing Titanfall. But unfortunately, you're only going to be able to play with other cheaters. And I believe the phrase they used was, you get to play with other players in something like the Wimbledon of aimbot contests.
Yeah, that was awesome. And if you try to play with other players on your group that aren't banned, well, they're all treated as banned for this period of time too.
That's awesome.
I think that is epic. And I just couldn't imagine playing like where everybody is using aimbot.
Can you imagine that in Rust, David?
Oh, I can actually, because it's a lot like playing Rust, actually. They also do the same thing in GTA where they just consider you an asshole. Literally, you're considered an asshole. And you're playing with other players who are ranked assholes. And you all get to play in one group. Everybody backstabbing and stealing each other's shit because that's how it goes down.
You know what really got me about this, though, is not only the awesomeness of the announcement and the idea, but when you go into the comments about this, people have gotten into this momentous argument about if using a keyboard and mouse on Xbox One to play Titanfall is cheating.
What?
I shit you not. Keyboard.
I think it is.
No,
in a way, it is.
In a way, it is because the game is designed for console, and everything is sort of set for console. Not console, controllers. That's the word I'm looking for. But I mean, if you can legitimately hook up a keyboard and mouse, is it cheating or is it just like an unfair advantage?
Well, it'd be the same thing as putting a controller onto a PC to play a game. Like, really, I don't see the difference. I don't see how that is cheating. You're being given your choice of input controls.
No.
It is absolutely an unfair advantage. I'm surprised that
Steve, putting a controller on the PC is deliberately crippling yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've never done it, so I don't know.
You can't even do it because there's just too many keybinds that are required to play most games. So a controller just won't cut it. I mean, unless it's a racing game or Minecraft or something where you can get by with just a bare bones control scheme.
Speaking of Minecraft, and this is sort of a roundabout way to get to this, but the big news this past week has been, it came out of the blue, Facebook bought Oculus Rift for $2 billion.
Can somebody explain to me why?
I don't know.
And
no idea.
Even worse, right? Is $1 billion like? Does everything that is being purchased now have to be in $1 billion or multiple thereof?
It wasn't really though. It was like $400 million in cash, but the rest of it is in Facebook stock for whatever you value Facebook stock is. And if you see that going somewhere,
there is a lot of that kind of thing where it's all, but then it's all lumped in saying they paid $2 billion. But really,
yeah, but even still, I mean,
well, look what happened to what was it? Flipboard. Facebook bought Flipboard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was estimated to be a $2-point-something billion deal, but again, it was part cash and part stock. And by the time
what I'm trying to get at is, when did all these products, these one-trick pony apps and crap, become worth this kind of money?
Because
they're more than
advertising revenue.
In some small countries, like I'm like, what?
It's advertising revenue that you can generate from something like, take the Flappy Bird. I mean, the dude is absolutely raking it in just from displaying those crappy little ads on the bottom of his app.
Fine, but would you pay $2 billion for it?
Apparently, it's generating more than that in ads. I mean, it has to. Facebook sees some kind of future in it. I don't know. They've stated that they're going to maintain a separation.
Oh, bullshit.
Exactly, and they're going to make it game focused and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I just don't know if the world really needs a VR Facebook,
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, we can look at selfies.
Oh, God.
And here's something interesting.
If you don't post this, you don't care about dying children if you don't repost this. Yeah, right.
So I'd like to get your opinion on something. So a lot of people were abuzz in the original Kickstarter because they're saying, look, I backed you guys for $300. Should we at least come up with some kind of way where my Kickstarter is now more of an investment than a donation, to where I can see some of this, however many untold billions of dollars that it will potentially generate in the future? Should my $300 be turned into, say, $250,000 or whatever it could come in?
No, because you didn't sign that agreement in the first place.
Of course not. No, not in the current setup. Not right now.
If you want to invest in a company, invest in a company. A Kickstarter is not a means of actual investment. It's a way for a company to earn funds quickly, and it's a gamble. You take a gamble that you're going to get a product at the end of this,
Starfighter.
Yeah.
Star Citizen.
It's definitely a donation. Do you think there would be room for something like that, like an invest starter or something where you could make a little micro investment?
Yeah, it's called the stock market.
Oh, well.
No, I'm sure there's... No, there is definitely, I can't remember the name of it now, but I read about it last year. There is definitely a Kickstarter-like entity wherein you are actually
investing,
an investor when you put the money in.
Yeah, I remember something about that as well. But here's the thing.
But it's like 12 to 18 months since I read about that, so that's why it escapes me. Obviously, it didn't go very far.
The moment this was announced, or at least within a very short period of time, Notch from, we're bringing it back to Minecraft again, Minecraft fame said they are pulling support for Oculus Rift from the game.
Okay, and let's be a dick.
Which was Chris Belinsky's of Gears of War fame. That was his attitude, where he basically said Notch was being bratty and petty.
I love that. Because it's so true. He is. It's such a silly thing because he doesn't want to be associated with the big, evil, bad Facebook.
Yeah.
When I don't know. It's just, Notch, for all intents and purposes, has cashed out. There's really not a whole lot of development going into Minecraft. He's kind of taken his money and left it up to the modders to determine the fate of Minecraft. So I don't know. I don't really care what Notch has to say, honestly.
Yeah,
you don't want to know his next.
He's really been a one-trick pony. Let's be serious.
No,
and that was by accident.
His other games suck.
Yeah, he's been a one-trick pony. And, if he had some sort of standing other than Minecraft, or if he had, I don't know, some other line of business that was doing wonderfully well, or, then maybe I'd take him a bit more seriously. But
yeah, I mean, it's all half-baked projects. Scrolls, half-baked, never really got anywhere. Cobalt was another one that it's still non-existent. For all intents and purposes, he's made one game, Minecraft, and really the people responsible for the fame is the Minecraft community for making it what it is, not Notch.
Yeah.
He got lucky.
Interestingly,
I mean, don't get me wrong. He obviously developed the concept of it and everything. But, it's like anything else. When you develop something, there's X amount of execution that goes in, there's X amount of talent that goes in, and then there's bucket loads of luck that go in terms of whether the market will accept it and it'll take off, And
I know when I was talking with, I think it was Kilius in Vent the other day, and we were talking about this Facebook purchase. And I said, if Oculus Rift had been up for sale, it would have seemed more logical for me if Microsoft had bought them. Because you take that Oculus Rift, combine it with Kinect, and there are other technologies for the expanded living room, and you could have something.
They wouldn't need.
I think they've got their
for the expanded living room if you were using Oculus Rift now, would you?
Well, Microsoft has its own thing, its own half-baked, VR system that they've got patents for, but no.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Following the news of the Facebook purchase, Microsoft apparently has bought a company by the name of Osterhout Design Group for $150 million for wearable VR computing, for all their patents and all their IP. Now, this group...
I need to open the story because the headline says nothing about VR computing.
Osterhout.
Their principal clients is the U.S. military. So they're actually getting some pretty serious IP out of this deal, unlike...
No, hang on now. No. I'm going to shoot you in the foot here. This has got nothing to do with VR. This has got to do with AR. Augmented reality. This is more like
head-mounted wearables. It's all head-mounted wearables.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is like a HUD display. Yeah, it's got nothing.
Which would be cool. Maybe like in my car or something. Or maybe to make it sifting through music easily in my car. I don't know.
We'll have glass holes, and what will the Microsoft version be?
Connect to it?
I don't even know. Glass holes. I love that.
Okay, let's go to, I know...
Although I could see it in gaming, right?
Yes.
Like, you have your Kinect for tracking your motion, right? But if you have, like, glasses on that, you can have instead of having the HUD projected on the screen, you could have the HUD on the glasses, and then you could have the glasses, like, track your eye movements for really precise aiming.
The other monitors thing, it never really flied. You remember Logitech released that little keyboard with the flip-up screen on it? This was years ago, and it was kind of like my first foray into that idea. And they would show ammo counter, life counter, whatever on that little display. But it's so it unimmerses you to have to look at something else like that, and kind of it takes you out of the picture, which is why the Oculus idea seems so cool.
Do you use second screen on any of your Xbox games?
Nope.
No, I sitting there the other day, I was playing, I think it was Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, and I was like, oh, this is second screen. Let me turn it on. Oh, wait, I don't want to be looking down there for my map.
No, it's just, it's odd. What I did do is in Battlefield, I used the alternate display, so I'd have the map of the level that we're currently on my second monitor, and so I could look over and see a full screen map and then play Battlefield with my main display, but that's really it. I haven't really gotten into the dual screen experience.
Neither have I. Probably because it requires two screens.
And looking at another screen while you're trying to do something like aim a gun or shoot somebody. Things that require focus.
Strafe! Try and get a headshot. Oh, what? What headshot? No.
I know you are a big fan of Slingbox, David. You've said that many times. Apparently, Chromecast is going to be getting Slingbox support. You use both. What do you think of the idea?
Love it. I'm happy to see that because originally Chromecast released the SDK, but it was pulled back when people started basically making it able to stream any local content through a Chromecast. But I'm happy that Google is now embracing that and allowing people to create apps that are a little bit outside the norm and kind of in that gray area of legality when it comes to streaming to a TV. But I love the idea. Slingbox is great. I've got it hooked up to another, just a cable box elsewhere in the house. Anytime I want to watch TV, just, cast it to my, my main TV and there it is. So I love the Slingbox.
Any insight on the Amazon Chromecast?
Well,
Amazon set-top box.
They've got a big media event coming up on April the 2nd, and they're already supposed to have been. It's rumored that they're going to be announcing the availability of their streaming machine, but the big one, which is being assumed right now, of course, is it's going to be a free streaming service.
I'm cool with that because I guess my biggest complaint about Amazon service is the library just isn't that great. They have some good movies and now and again they get an exclusive, but it's no Netflix. It's no real competitor as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that might sort of stand in line with the fact that Amazon, it mightn't be free unless you're an Amazon Prime user.
No, there's also talk about being ad supported. Now, here's the thing. I would have no problem using it if it was Amazon ads for products within Amazon.
Yeah, like related related advertising for stuff that you would be interested in.
Exactly.
Started on Amazon's idea of what's related.
That's a good point.
Oh, please tell the story. Tell the story, Paul. You'll love this, David.
When you're using Amazon and it gives you other stuff that is recommended for you because of stuff you have either purchased or is on your wish list.
Sure.
So at the bottom of my stream today cropped up this woman in lingerie, right? And I'm like, hold on, you're recommending I buy lingerie? So I clicked on the button to see why this was recommended to me. Because I had put an elliptical in my wish list, I suddenly decided that I needed lingerie.
I could just see Paul in lingerie, in stockings and garter belt.
Spender tights and, knickers with a garter belt for while I'm on my elliptical. Because that'll be awesome. I'd look awesome.
I've got some strange ones. For some reason, Amazon keeps thinking that I want to purchase uranium and little boxes of uranium for whatever, because I clicked on science supplies or some kind of kit for God knows what, years ago. But for some reason, it has a hunch that I am in dire need of some uranium ASAP.
Here's the question. How many of those little boxes of uranium could you buy before you set off some flags?
Probably just one. Because the list of people buying uranium cannot be a very long list.
Okay, Paul, you brought in the lingerie. I've got to bring in the witch-faced dancing robots.
Dude.
Now, granted, this is a video only, so you'll have to go to the site and click on to see it. But
it's a GIF more than anything else. There's a video. Oh my God, there's a video.
It's a creepy GIF?
Yes, there's a video.
Let me turn off the sound on this video and watch it. Keep talking.
No, but I just think that's got to be the scariest looking thing. It's like Blair Witch in your house.
Yeah, she looks like the witch out of Left 4 Dead or the characters in the first, as we said pre-show, the first BioShock with those masks on. But you do know that somewhere there's a little Japanese man creaming himself.
Just can't wait to get down with that robot that is literally bolted to a mirror. Yes.
Fembot, man.
Okay, let's go.
Power to be proud.
Let's go from.
Maybe you could 3D print a Fembot.
Well, if not, you could probably maybe do one for your skull.
Just a skull if you need one.
Well,
a spare skull.
Yeah, a spare skull. No. Apparently, what was it? In the Netherlands, a young Dutch woman with a rare condition that caused the bones in her skull to become excessively thick. That resulted in a number of symptoms from frequent severe headaches to loss of coordination and even partial blindness. As the condition became more severe, doctors believed the key brain functions would eventually be impaired, possibly resulting in the 22-year-old's death. Now, apparently, traditionally, to try and correct that, the skull implant that they would have been used would have been fashioned in the operating room out of bone material, I guess. I'm not sure which.
Well, it depends on what it was made out of, but whether it's a plastic or whether it's titanium or whatever they choose to use. Generally, when they do that, the plates are sort of a generic shape, and then they basically just.
But what the doctors did
last minute.
What the doctors did is they took 3D printed prints, high resolution digital scans, which were then turned into a 3D printed skull cap.
Yeah, speaking of Deus Ex, by the way, this is exactly how Deus Ex started. It starts with a 3D printed skull, but where does it end?
Yeah, and I saw somewhere during the week as well, never made it to the show notes, somebody had a trachea.
Yep. Yeah, 3D. It was printed out of biomaterials. 3D printed. It's like I have said, and I will continue to say, that our society is in for one of the biggest transformations we've ever seen due to 3D printing. And you were saying, Paul, something about the carbon nanotubes?
Yeah, I read during the week about a 3D printer that will do carbon nanotubes.
Which, of course,
there's any legitimacy to that, please don't hold me to it, because carbon nanotubes have been sort of touted as this wonder material.
Yeah. Like graphene.
It's like basically if we could do carbon nanotubes properly, if we could get them long enough, we could finally build that goddamn space elevator we've been talking about for 40 years. But
imagine the penthouse.
If give me a 3D printer, I'll start trying to build a space elevator for my backyard.
But it needs a penthouse and that little rotating restaurant on the top that just rotates around.
And we can all wear those new spacesuits that NASA's trying out. But no, really, this is pretty incredible. Like, we are seeing more innovation in medicine because of 3D printing that we don't even it's like we're just on the cusp of some really incredible work.
Especially when things are ordered off the internet and 3D printed. And what's cool about it is it's in every field. I just saw a guy who he had created a model Ferrari, but always wanted an Aston. And so he was a software engineer who was 3D printing little 4-inch sections of an Aston frame to put it together to make an old school DB. And it's such a cool idea that he's just doing it with a desktop printer, and kind of makes you wonder, about the future of it. Obviously, we're going to have bigger 3D printers. We're going to have different materials for all sorts of different uses. But, just imagine the revolution in just construction in general, from being able to 3D print a part like that.
It was a year ago, I did a story on a 3D printer that uses sand and some other material to actually build a home.
Out of sand?
Out of sand, and some composite to keep it like concrete.
But can you not see that happen as like the next sort of big business venture? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody builds a portable 3D printer that fits on the back of a truck and basically prints a one-story home, and just goes to, piss poor places.
And the nice thing I feel about this whole 3D printing revolution is that it's not in the hands of huge corporations. This is happening all with individuals.
Neither was Oculus. Neither was Oculus until yesterday?
Yeah, but I don't think the same thing will happen to 3D printing, because it is already too diffused. It's already too out there within the community, and the technology is so open source, really, that if you had the knowledge, you can build your own 3D printer.
Well, here's the thing.
That's part of the downfall of it.
It's open source now, right? But it's like anything else. I wonder how long it's going to take before the patent lawyers start to get there. Once they start to see this field evolve and actually make money, and I mean actually make money, I wonder how many patents are going to start to come out from
patent trolls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you I don't. How do you patent?
Here's the thing: printer technology in general has been around a long time. Now, obviously, this is a new medium, but a lot of the core concepts have been around a long time.
I could definitely see somebody with the patent for the most basic idea of something comes out of a machine that you hit a button to produce. And they come in and sweep through each of these, knocking out the smaller companies like the MakerBot or which is kind of part of I guess the biggest weakness that I see right now is that, like you said, it's so diffused. You kind of have to choose what 3D printer you use, what model file format you use with a particular printer, and what model you get, and then kind of convert it. So there's definitely room in there for somebody to kind of, I guess there's room for a standard is what I'm saying.
I think that's what MakerBot is trying for, isn't it?
They are. And there's a few other smaller desktop printers that are kind of vying for that position. So really, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see who
come out of this too. Could also be that we're going to see a consolidation eventually between a number of front leaders in this, and they're gonna very quickly close source everything that they can.
Yeah.
And then they're going to start locking up innovations in their own patents, however you want to call them, and that's not going to be good for this industry. It's really not. But where the real interest is going to come is when they can start actually printing microcircuitry within objects.
Yes.
That's when this shit gets freaky, right? Like when they can print her skull implant with all the components necessary for Google Glass to go down to 2 little receptors.
Yeah, you choose your add-ons. Like, do you want, a blood sugar level monitor? Add $4.95 to your 3D printed skull or whatever.
Johnny Mnemonic, here we come.
Would you like to fix your vision for another $29.99?
Okay, here's totally out in left field. Should they do a reboot of Johnny Mnemonic? Because
can we leave Keanu Reeves out of it?
Yes.
And Ice-T?
Out.
Was it Ice-T? Yeah, it was Ice-T was in that one. Yeah.
Yep. Dina Meyer.
I think that with the technology and the movie abilities we have now, Johnny Mnemonic is prime for a reboot.
Yeah, but the problem that they have with it is they're going to have to come up with something better than the idea of a software memory doubler.
And the Yakuza are a little bit dated nowadays. If there's even a Yakuza, do the Yakuza still exist outside of video games and pop culture?
Yeah, and the whole the NSS, the Black Plague or whatever they call it, the Shakes, and although they could get him back,
Dolph.
No, not Dolph.
Memory loss
stuff on Big Think. Rocker dude.
Oh, Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins, yeah. I mean, for some reason, the names of all the people I actually like are escaping me tonight. That's why I can remember your name, Steve.
Yeah, I know. I know that, yes.
But yeah, no. Is it time for a Johnny Mnemonic reboot? Well, you know what? It'll be 20 years next year. It'll be 20 years next year. They could do it.
Well, they're rebooting everything else.
Do what they did with Total Recall, right? They took Total Recall and they made it from Earth to Mars, and then they sort of brought it back so it's all set on Earth, right? Well, they should take Johnny Mnemonic, which is all set on Earth, and then do it from Earth to Mars.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll leave that one where it belongs as a nice idea that will never happen.
Let's speak about leaving things Keanu where they belong.
How are we looking at Reeves graveyard?
What's that?
Speaking of leaving things where they belong, why the hell are we looking at a Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles reboot? And why the hell does April O'Neil have brown hair?
I don't know.
Is April O'Neil a porn star?
Original cartoons, she had blonde hair, and that's that.
Yeah, I watched the trailer, and my reaction was meh.
My reaction was these turtles are overweight. These turtles have way too much pizza.
They need ellipticals.
They need ellipticals so that they can get lingerie, yeah.
Okay, this is right along the same lines of, like WTF. But Senator Leland Yee, who has been a driving force behind getting video games banned or, having to go through all kinds of crap, he got arrested. Guess what he got arrested for?
Being a dick.
Eating some video game.
No, he got arrested for bribery, corruptions, and arms trafficking.
But you know what? He's got perfect built-in excuse. I spent so many years looking at these video games.
They bled over. Too much GTA? Too much GTA.
GTA just rubbed off on me, and I couldn't help myself. And I am proof that these video games are bad.
But with a stance and in a political position so absurd, I'm not surprised he has to step outside the box for any kind of funding.
Oh, he steps outside the box, all right.
Oh, no shit. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, the other big news, actually it broke today, and then we'll have to do this one quickly. Microsoft Office goes completely free for Android phones and tablets.
This is also my pick of the week.
The second half, free for Android, but paid for iOS, of course. Yeah.
Well, no, the subscription, like on iOS, you can view it, you can do everything, but you only cannot edit without having a Office 365 subscription.
Yeah.
On Android, you can edit.
I've only tried this on my Nexus on my phone. I haven't put it on a tablet yet. But, for me, this is, as a consultant, this is a game changer. Because the fact of the matter is, I live half my life in Google Docs, but I cannot avoid Microsoft Office. I can't because all my clients use it. And,
sure.
I need stuff to be in file formats that they give me and I can edit and everything. This is a game changer for me, just to be able to have it on my phone and edit whatever I want, or just hammer out a quick invoice from Excel, perfect. I'm happy. And you know what? This is awesome. Like, it's a wonderful ploy from Microsoft to prepare everybody, because it's not going to be really, really difficult to switch to Windows Phone now.
No,
if you're already living in the Microsoft environment on Android. If you've got your Outlook like Hodgson has, you use Outlook as your main email on your Android. You've now got your Microsoft Office. I
use OneNote on Android.
Yeah, the OneNote was released for free as well. Now Office is free on Android. So basically the entire Office suite is free on Android.
Yeah, I agree entirely. It's difficult to
iOS people.
It's difficult to survive professionally without the Office suite. As much as I'd like to switch over to OpenOffice or some freebie alternative, if I want to send and communicate with people who are using Office, you have to use Office. Sure, you can open up an XLS and OpenOffice, but you can't be guaranteed that the formatting is going to remain the same. So this is huge. I look forward to hopefully a desktop variant going, I guess, a little bit less pricey than what it is now. Just in recognition that there are some alternatives. So I think Microsoft kind of has to step up their game on the desktop side of things to really compete with the freebies. But we'll see. It's a good first step.
It's not within the realms of unfeasibility for Microsoft to seriously drop the price. Like, there's a lot of companies out there that if you work for them,
get a license.
Well, not just that you get a license, but just by being an employee, you're entitled to buy licenses for like $10 a piece for the full Office suite.
Yeah, student pricing is pretty good too. But
the company Sarah works for, they have that agreement. All you have to do is, they give you a portal, you sign up. It's for your home stuff, and $10 a piece for the suite.
Okay, let's walk out of the show with David's pick for this week, the DOS Keyboard 4 Professional. Now, I want to preface this, David, so maybe you can walk me through this. I have been using, the Microsoft Curve. I like my chiclets, but you are a big proponent of the hard click mechanical keys, which DOS keyboard is. Why?
Well, it's kind of one of those things you just have to try it and take it on faith. A mechanical keyboard is the absolute, cream of the crop typing and gaming experience. It feels a lot like you're pressing just little like on a rubber membrane on a standard keyboard, but a mechanical gives you feedback. And for somebody who's typing a lot, or gaming a lot, or just add a keyboard in general. I find it totally worth it. There's different types of switches that you can choose from. But I'm a huge fan of mechanical keyboards in general, specifically the MX Brown switch, which Das Keyboard now has in a great package, with media controls, a little volume selector that's new. They got rid of that function key, which, especially as a gamer, I like just 3 buttons in the bottom left, control Windows and Alt. And they got rid of it. So nice product, well built, highly recommended.
USB hub. What's that round thing?
That's the volume control.
Volume control. Mm-hmm. Yep, USB 3 hub, some media buttons. The sleep button, use it or not, it's still kind of a nifty little feature. But other than that, it's just a solid, well-built keyboard.
Why is there a damn 16-inch ruler built into this thing?
That's a good question. I thought that was a little odd, but it's really the wrist rest. So it must just be scored or something, and they've got just some kind of scoring so you could use it as a ruler. Whatever.
It says it's scaled on both sides. Yeah.
But the gem is the keyboard itself in the typing experience. So.
How much will this set us back?
$169 for the MX Blues and $173 for the MX Browns. Although there are much less expensive mechanical keyboards from Corsair or Rosewill that you could find with the switch of your choice. But any mechanical keyboard, especially with MX Browns, is a definite recommend for me.
Okay. And on that note, I think we're going to call this one to a close. We're running close on time. You got any final words for the folks, Paul? Anything
Listen
at all?
to your IT guy.
I've done enough complaining recently. I would just, what I would, can somebody send a pronunciation guide to Hodson?
Oh, shut up.
It's things like Deus Ex. That'll be awesome.
All righty. From the mean man himself to David, you got any good words for the people?
Stay tuned. Geek Dimension 1 Extra. This is a place to be.
All righty. And on that note...
play Titanfall.
Play Titan. Yeah, okay. I'll get right on. I've been playing Diablo like nuts.
Me too. Oh. I can't put it down.
I can't. I just, you know what I've done? Just a quick one here. I book myself a few hours in the morning for work, and then part of my reward is an hour worth of Diablo. Then I do some work in the afternoon, and then part of my reward is some Diablo. And I just can't stop playing it. I love it.
Find Diablo 3 to be as involved as...
Play it. Post-patch.
Have it.
With the expansion pack. No, you bought it on a console. That's not fair. That's not the Diablo experience.
That does not
play it on a PC. It's beautiful. The X-Pack is great. I love the expansion pack.
If you will come and mind my son and buy my wife concert tickets so she can head out and do something, then I will play it on the PC.
Okay, now you can catch us, everybody. If you like the show, you can head over to iTunes. You can subscribe to us there, or you can vote for us. Give us a thumbs up. We're on, like I said, iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry, podcastpedia.org, and more to come. Or you can just grab it through the RSS feed on the site. Make sure you leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the show. But for now, folks, we're out of here. We're done. Done like dinner. So until next week, remember, there's only one thing to keep in mind. Keep it geek. You have been listening to the Geek Dimensions On-Air podcast with Stephen Hodson, Paul O'Flaherty, and David Gall. You can send any feedback about this or any of our other episodes to feedback@geekdimensions.com or by leaving a comment on the post. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus as Geek Dimensions. If you want to subscribe to the show, you can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry, and podcastpedia.org, or you can use our RSS feed for the show. The music used in the show is Metro by Sleek Thief. The On-Air podcast is the official podcast of Geek Dimensions and everyone living a geek's life.